I'm confused by the strategy. Joe Biden left office historically unpopular. We now know through books of the cover-up of his health condition. How do Democrats think Joe Biden near a camera is a good thing for them?
Well, he certainly looked good on camera today, and everybody was glad to see him. I think that one of the things that perhaps we might be glossing over here is the fact that Social Security is being attacked with a chainsaw by Donald Trump and by the co-president Elon Musk, and they are packing waiting rooms. We are seeing times skyrocketing for delivery of services, and people should be rightly concerned that with all of the people that have been fired and driven out of Social Security, that I still believe, Leland, we're going to see an interruption of benefits in the very near future. And that's something that hasn't happened in 90 years. So I hope Joe Biden isn't the last former president that speaks out on this.
Okay.
Might be the first, but I'm hoping to hear from President Clinton. I'm hoping to hear from President Bush. None of those former presidents wanted to destroy Social Security quite like Donald Trump does.
I understand the attack on Donald Trump. Important to note that you're talking about the firing of people inside the Social Security Administration. I think we can both agree that so far there have been no proposed cuts to benefits. But I get this. Again, I just come back to Joe Biden, who Democrats pushed off the ticket, who Kamala Harris even made the point we need to turn the page from. That was a big part of their campaign. Do you not worry at all that having this conversation and Joe Biden up there in gaffes just sort of remind Americans of what happened and how they feel lied to?
No, not given the threat to Social Security, which is very, very imminent. No, I don't.
When you say threat, you say threat to Social Security. If there's one thing Donald Trump has been Sherman-esque about, is he's not going to touch Social Security, and that
he already has.
No, hold on. He's not going to touch. There's two things. He's not going to touch benefits.
7,000 people out of Social Security, man. Where have you been? Is your head in the sand? There are lines outside of Social Security offices. House Republicans voted last year to cut it by $500 million. People can't get through on the phone lines. It is a show, and it has been created by Donald Trump and by Elon Musk.
What's the show?
Understand, man.
What's the show? I don't understand.
It's you know what kind of show it is. It's a disaster. These guys are dismantling Social Security, Leland. I mean, you can say they haven't cut benefits, but when you cut people's access to their benefits, you're cutting off their benefits. I mean, they're cramming people into Social Security offices, reception areas. They are deleting from the website.
Okay, so why are we not hearing? I don't have any of my own reporting on this. What's confusing What's confusing and confounding to me then is if Democrats think this is a winning issue, and I'll agree with you, Social Security gets cut. We said it on TV. It is going to be a huge problem. It's a huge problem for either party if they do it, if they are deemed responsible for it. Just ask George W. Bush, who had to back off immediately when he tried to reform Social Security. Why are we not seeing Democrats focus on this and have pictures of these waiting rooms you talk about and reporting on these phone lines and on and on? I haven't seen any of that.
Oh, it's out there, man. Today was a day of national action all across the country. There were 100 different demonstrations. Maybe you were out of town 2 weeks ago when tens of thousands of people showed up in Boston and Washington at the Social Security headquarters. People are pretty aware. I did 8 town halls across Florida, and they were packed with people. There are people, Congress people, holding town halls all across America. So people are very alerted to the fact that they're coming after their Social Security, and they have right to be concerned. Look, I don't know much about much, but I ran the Social Security Administration for a year. It was a remarkable turnaround year. I was taught by some of the smartest, most experienced people that kept that agency running all through the pandemic. And what I can tell you is this agency is being dismantled, deconstructed, and destroyed before our very eyes. And I do believe that the Doge people and co-President Musk have already taken 90% of the actions necessary to crater this agency into a system collapse that will interrupt benefits.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.